Alright, so I'm going to drill out this hole so that the multi-out connector can poke out through where the channel 3, channel 4 select switch was. To do that, first I'm going to start off with the Dremel. I'm going to use the end mill style cutter first. It's fairly thick plastic. Okay, this is about as close to the lines as I want to get with that cutter. But I'm close enough to the lines that I can just finish it with an X-Acto knife. Pretty obvious the ear for the multi-out is not gonna be able to stay on there if I leave the ear for the panel. So I'm just gonna snap that off. It'll be glued down, won't make much difference. Okay, there we go. Not exactly a perfect fit, but it's going to do the job quite nice. Okay, now I'm going to put the panel back onto the top loader so I can do some test fitting. Number one problem is the bottom edge of that connector hole has got to be absolutely flush with the board, and I am straight away. Perfect. Turns out the pins on the back of the SNES multi-connector are pretty easy to bend back, so I won't have to worry about trying to drill holes through the circuit board to mount it. It'll make it much easier. Okay, so with all the pins bent out backwards, bent straight, so trial fitted in there. And we'll see what it looks like. Okay, that's pretty well nice and flush on the panel. If I wanted, I could even drill a hole through the circuit board and mount it down. Access to all the pins. I might even bend them all the way back upwards here. Yeah, it's looking good so far. This is kind of a finished product here. I have the N64 amp double-sided taped to the memory chips behind the CPU. Composite sync cap, double-sided taped out front. I was going to have a socket in between the PPU and the socket on the motherboard, but an extra socket would mean extra height and a lot more chance of it coming out, so I do have it, the pins of the PPU bent up and soldered to the wires to the input of the amp. The multi-out come out really nice. I ended up not using any glue. I've got one big screw coming up from the bottom, going right into that side tab of the multi-out, and of course 2 pins on the back are soldered right to the ground plane, so it is plenty stiff. Another issue I didn't quite account for was the heat sink mounting tab interferes with the multi-out. As you can see, the multi-out really can't come this way anymore, so I'm just going to bend it out and leave it there, not screw it down. It's screwed out. It's screwed at the 7805 and on this side, so I mean that's more than adequate. Okay, so the heat sink is on. Obviously, RF shielding is definitely not going to fit over the N64 amp. I probably could slice away a good portion of it. Actually, it looks like it would be really close to touching the RGB lead, so I'm just going to leave it off completely. Not that big of a deal, happens all the time. Check everything, make sure everything's out of the way. Clearance.